Okay, welcome to the video. SIG Guy here. This is just going to be a really quick video. I had quite a few people already asking to do a video on how to remove my magazine release in the xMacro. So it's a little different. It's kind of the same, but it's a little bit different than all your other previous magazine releases in the 365. You can see there's not two defined pieces here to where we can use the razor blade method, but there is still a hole to where we can use the Allen wrench method. So let's get started. So as always, whenever we're working on any of our firearms, we're going to make sure it's a clear and safe firearm. So if there's a magazine installed, we're going to remove our magazine. We're going to lock our slide to the rear. We're going to physically and visually check to make sure there's no round in the chamber, no magazine. Check our breech face, look away. Do the same thing again, chamber, magazine, breech face. This is a clear and safe firearm. Because we're going to be pointing the muzzle in our general direction, I'm going to add one more layer of security here. I'm going to remove the slide. So I'm going to lock my slide to the rear, rotate the takedown lever, remove the slide. That way when we're pointing this, towards our general direction, working on this magazine release, we know we're 100% safe. So for this, we're going to be using the Allen wrench method, and this is the Allen wrench that I use. I like the Allen wrench because of the material it's made of. It's more rigid and retains its shape a lot better than like a paper clip. So like we've already stated, you can't see two clear defined pieces here where we'd use the razor blade to put in between those two pieces and disengage them from each other. But you can see there are two pieces. If you press the magazine release, you can see that the wedge, which is the piece that was in the forward position, actually has a cover to it that covers the whole magazine release. Okay, so this still removes the exact same way to where I'm going to use my Allen wrench to put in this hole. I'm going to press in to disengage that wedge from the magazine release itself, and then I'm going to pull my Allen wrench down, which is going to pry that up a little bit. So then I'm going to do this over and over. I'm going to push in, pull down, which will pry up, push in, pull down, which will pry up. Just keep doing that over and over, and you'll see that walk its way out just like that. Okay, so we'll pull this out, and we'll take a look at it. You can see it's the exact same wedge as previous designs, except it's just got that flat piece now on top that covers the whole magazine release. Okay, so now that we have it removed, people are probably asking, why would I need to remove that? Well, it comes installed in the grip module, unlike the Wilson Combat one. So if it's in the right-handed shooter configuration. So if you're a left-handed shooter, you're going to have to remove that, switch it over to the other side. That way you can use it as a left-handed shooter. The other question is going to be, is there any aftermarket support? Do any of the current aftermarket ones fit? Will they work? So on and so forth. I have played with it a little bit, and I have the Align Tactical, I have the Armory Craft, and we have the factory one here. And looking at them with the naked eye, I mean, they all look dimensionally the same as far as the inside part that interacts with the magazine. You can see they're all pretty much the same, but we'll demonstrate. So we have the factory one right here. The problem is getting it out afterwards. Okay, so we'll install this one here. Just going to show you what I'm talking about. And then when we push that all the way in, you can see our hole. It's clearly visible. We can get our Allen wrench in there. Okay, sticks out just about all the way. We can see the whole hole. Okay, and then when we use our Armory Craft one, and then we push it all the way in, you can see we can see the hole, but it's not a whole lot of the hole. Okay, and you're going to have to use the factory magazine release catch. Okay, so when this is all installed, because if you use the regular, I don't even know if the regular wedge works. I didn't try it, but with that sitting flush like it would as it's normally installed in the 365, the button is not extended out. Okay, it's pretty much all the way in. See, I'm holding it in, and we're just about flush over here. So what happens when we stick this factory one in there with the little cap on the top, it actually has the release kind of in that position there, to where that portion that sticks out on this is now flush with the grip module, with the release countersunk a little bit. Okay, with the release countersunk a little bit, our magazine release is protruding over here, and it's actually usable where you can push it in. Okay, so I'll demonstrate, which is a pain in the butt getting this out, but we'll demonstrate. So we'll put our spring on there. We'll slide this in through the side. And then we will put our factory wedge in there, and we'll let it go. Okay, so you can see that's flush there. It's protruding over here, and then it does lock our magazine in just fine. Now, to get this out, you really can't use the Allen wrench alone, unless you probably get very lucky, because there's no room to get this action going on, okay, to where it's going to pry that out. So what you kind of have to do is stick your Allen wrench in there, because we're going to push on that. And then I take my X-Acto blade, and I'm putting it in between these two pieces. Now, mind you, there are no replacements for this stuff, so I would not encourage doing this, because if you break that, you're kind of screwed here. Okay, I'm not sure how you're going to recover. If you can use the regular ones, we'll try it afterwards. But anyway, so I'm going to push in on my Allen wrench, okay, and then that kind of allows me to pry that out a little bit. We can remove our magazine catch, remove our Allen wrench, and then drop our magazine release out through the bottom. Okay, so if you do lose a spring, they do look to be the exact same size, the xMacro and the regular traditional XL and 365 spring. The wedge, so what we'll do is we'll reinstall our factory one, okay? And we'll do it with, I mean, if you're a left-handed shooter, you're going to want to obviously put it on the left-hand side, or excuse me, on the right-hand side. Right-hand shooter, you want on the left-hand side. So we'll install our release. Oops. Just like that. And I had mentioned the regular wedge. So if somehow you lost or broke the factory one, we will take the old style wedge and put it in there just like that. And then you can see, although it's not aesthetically pleasing, it is perfectly functional. Okay. So it does lock in the magazine if you were to break this or lose it until replacements are available. You can get by with the regular wedge, and it does remove just as easy. Okay, so we'll take the factory one, put that back in there, and we'll test it out. All right, so anytime that we make any changes to any of our firearms, we're going to bring it to the range and thoroughly test it. I'm not talking 10 or 20 rounds. I'm talking a couple boxes, a couple hundred of rounds to make sure that it is 100% reliable. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because I'm probably going to put the AC one back in and bring that out and test it. They do not plan on making a magazine release, extended magazine release for the xMacro at this time. Who knows, that might change. So that's really it. There is really no aftermarket support until somebody else comes out with one. So I've gotten so used to the AC one being extended, where this one here feels like it barely even sticks out. And I don't have to readjust my grip and everything. I've been using the Armory Craft one for years, so I'm probably going to put that in here and give that a try. Like I said, thoroughly test it. So another question I get about the xMacro is, will this fit? Will that fit? So on and so forth. The FCU in the xMacro is the exact same FCU that has been throughout all the 365 different models. Okay, so the trigger is going to fit no matter which one you choose to put in there. And then the replacement parts is like the takedown lever, your slide catch, your sear spring, even the upper stuff like your striker. That's all the same as it's always been. Okay, difference being our extended magazine release that we just talked about. So I posted the other day about my new EDC. This is the Icarus grip module with Will's new slides, the Sentinel slide there, integrated comp. So he was the first one to come out with this to market. And then you can see, obviously, SIG's the xMacro. If you hold them up side by side, they're almost identical as far as dimensionally and, you know, length and width and stuff. Okay, so they both have the integrated comp. So when we're looking at this, I get the question on our tuning kits. Okay, this is the XL length guide rod assembly. Okay, so the xMacro and Will's comp slide, they all use the standard 3.1 inch barrel. Okay, because our barrel has to be before our comp, obviously, in order for it to work. If we had a barrel that was that long, well, we're bypassing that compensated portion of the slide, and it's not going to work. And I even had one guy trying to order a threaded barrel for the xMacro to put a compensator on a compensated slide. I don't know. Anyway, so we got our 3.1 inch barrel, okay, and then our XL length guide rod. That's the way that works. Okay, so when we take away this compensated portion, what are we looking at right there? We're looking at the 365. And then if this was not even, those cutouts weren't in there, we're looking at the XL. Okay, so that's really the only differences is the ported portion up here. One guy was told by a gun shop owner that this is gimmick. This works. Okay, a lot of gun companies incorporate these into their slides, like staccatos and other high-end pistols. They're not just doing it for looks and gimmicks. Okay, so that actually works. Compensators have been around forever. Also, I mean, obviously our grip length for the 17 rounds, that's different. So there's differences right there. There's differences on the end here. Pretty much everything in the middle, same as it's always been. All right, so all we have to do is just to reassemble. And one other thing, when you take this apart, don't forget your takedown lever is in the down position. So if you go to test your magazine after switching this, and you're gonna, well, what's going on here? It doesn't fit. It's because your takedown lever is rotated. So we'd have to rotate that up, and then it'll fit fine. Okay. So we'll remove our magazine. We'll rotate our takedown lever. Make sure it's all the way in the forward position, and then make sure our safety lever right here. This little guy right here, sometimes it likes to work its way up like that, and that'll prevent the slide from sliding over it. It'll jam it up like that. So it's got to be in the down position so our slide can slide right over it. Okay. So we'll reinstall our slide. And then we're going to ensure that our magazine is seated firmly, it doesn't fall out, and it does fall out under its own weight when we press the release. Okay, there you have it. This is the part of the video I kind of ramble on a little bit, but just to finish things up, that's how you remove and install the xMacro magazine release. Wait a second, that's not an xMacro. What is that? So this is the FDesWorks Sentinel slide. It's my new EDC. I absolutely love this thing. I do have these slides in black available on the website, sigguy.com, as well as his barrels is a 9x19 barrel, which I have on the website also. But I have FDesWorks, all different colors, 3.1 inch barrels. I just added 9x19 XL threaded barrels to the website. I was finally able to snag some of those. Barrels are so hard to get. They can't keep up with demand. So I got Zafari, I got True, I got Faxon, barrels on there. So if you're kind of thinking about taking your old 365 or your XL and want to give it a little facelift, make it into basically a full-size 365, which pretty much that's what this thing is. This grip feels so amazing. If you felt the 322, this feels exactly like that. And then this comes with the back strap. So if you got bigger hands, you can put a bigger back strap on there. If you got a smaller hand, you can put a smaller back strap on there. Basically knock this pin out, switch them over, and you're good to go. So I'm just waiting on the grips from SIG. I got the magazines in stock. I got the slides in stock. I got the barrels in stock. Tons of stuff in stock. I just added the Evo Icarus grip modules, the X and the XLs. So that's going to be my EDC. That's the Evo XL, which is the full length grip, like that. I got the Wilson Combat grips, tons of stuff, triggers, factory parts, base pads, magazine releases, sights. I got the Maggut spring kits where you can add capacity to your magazines in stock. And don't forget, I'm selling some Glock stuff. I've added some of that. I mean, I figure all these people that have SIGs, they got Glocks too, so they want to do some upgrades. So I got a bunch of Killer Innovation stuff, and I really like their stuff for the SIG platform. I'm just waiting for them to have it in stock to where I can add that to the website as well. So there you have it. Everything on SIGguy.com. Kind of make it a one-stop shop. Also, if you find this video informational and helpful, please subscribe to me on YouTube, SIG Guy. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.